It's a great pleasure to welcome to What's Next, another one of our series with Sage Jordaan Burger, who's the Vice President of Finance for Africa, Middle East, and Asia Pacific at Sage. Firstly, a warm welcome to you, Jordaan. It's great to have you with us. How are you doing, firstly?
I'm doing very well, Aki. Thank you. It's always great to speak with you, and can't be that bad on a Friday.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Listen, technology is playing such an incredible role in every single business. I mean, in my 30 more years of covering technology, I've never seen the pace moving so fast and people's roles changing. And it's quite extraordinary, but it's exciting at the same time. And, you know, you come from a finance background, and I'm really fascinated about the role of the CFO in an organization, how it's evolving globally and especially in South Africa. And of course, the responsibilities, and it's moving to more of a strategic role. What are the biggest responsibilities a CFO faces in 2025 beyond their traditional roles? What are you guys seeing at Sage?
Okay, so technology is a very interesting and exciting space to be in, and I'm very privileged to be in that part of the world. So the responsibility on CFOs just keep increasing. That's the way it feels to me. Businesses demand more of CFOs. CFOs are more involved with that strategic decision making, like you said. And I think what's overwhelming or becoming overwhelming for all of us is the amounts of data that we need to deal with. The data out there and the data that we see in businesses is just so overwhelming. And we need to make sense of that. I think CFOs, our main responsibility is to be storytellers and to simplify things for the business so that we can make the right decisions. I was at a finance conference this week in London with Sage's finance leaders. And at some point, someone did a presentation and they put the comments of the regional MDs on screen, obviously anonymized. It's very easy for me to spot Peter Bench's comment out of all of the others. But the general theme there is that the expectation for us is to be more forward-looking. When we get into meetings, people talk about past results for 10 minutes, and then the follow-up question is, okay, but where are we headed for the next couple of months? Where are we going to land this year? So that's what people are expecting from us. We need to enable the business to make the right decisions, and we need to be forward-looking, futurists almost.
Yeah, I love what you're saying about the fact that you're storytellers, and it's so true. You know, you're utilizing all of these tools and how critical data is. But who would have called CFOs storytellers a decade ago, right? And, you know, with these increased responsibilities, CFOs have a more significant impact on the C-suite than ever. I did mention earlier the strategic role that they play. How should CFOs use this increased responsibility to benefit their businesses?
So obviously on a C-suite level, we expect everyone in the C-suite to be the experts in their relative fields. They know their craft very well. But there's a big expectation from finance to have a deeper understanding of what goes on across the business. And obviously then bringing the element of the numbers and the storytelling with that. I need to tell another story. And that was something which our global head of marketing at Sage said earlier this week. Now, he's a fan of racehorses, and they're saying because of how racehorses are bred for high performance, they tend to be very anxious, very twitchy, very nervous always. And what the experts have found to calm these racehorses down is to actually put a donkey with them whilst they're grazing, just to calm the nerves of it. And I almost see finance and CFOs as being the donkey in the room, right? We need to calm everyone down. We need to give them neutral ground. We need to give them perspective, the necessary data, so that everyone can make sound decisions on what they want to do. I think a big element of that as well is enabling the business to make those decisions on the fly. And that's where I think finance teams play a critical role in allowing for self-service. We need to build dashboards that we can expose to the marketing team, the people team, the strategy team, so that they can self-serve on a daily basis and make the right decisions.
Okay, no, that's a brilliant analogy you used. It makes complete sense. I'll try it next time when I meet a CFO and say, you're a donkey, but it makes complete sense, right? I never thought about it. I'm very passionate about racehorses as well, but it makes complete sense that when you put an animal like a donkey together with a racehorse, it's got that calming effect on it. And of course, today, there's a lot of, the change that's happening and the instability of markets just makes people twitchy, I guess. And you need to be calm to make decisions, and your mind needs to be calm to make, good, sound decisions. So the CFO must really balance the stability of their business's current finance, right, with driving growth for the future. Now, this includes investing in technologies that expand the business's growth potential without negating existing investments. And CFOs need to be forward-thinking like that. Otherwise you stagnate a business. How can CFOs balance all of this? Because it sounds challenging.
It is very challenging. I think that, the first priority for us should be to make sure that we focus on the right elements. And to be able to do that, we need to get rid of what's keeping finance teams busy unnecessarily. And I'm talking about data entry. I'm talking about repetitive tasks. We've got limited resources in finance teams everywhere. And I think if we can move away from those mundane tasks, allow technology to play its role there, then we can obviously spend more of our time on looking at the analysis, working in the business, be the storyteller, and to help guide the business. Technology has come such a long way, Aki, and I think we are now at a very important point in time where technology is just more and more important. I spoke about the data earlier, and if we don't keep up as finance teams, we are going to stay behind, and we're not going to be able to support the business as we should. One last comment on that is, in terms of our finance teams and the development of our finance teams, I think it's extremely important to get the right talent in your team, but then to also create that culture of experimentation, curiosity in technology. It's great to actually see how people embrace that and say, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to automate something. I'm going to build a dashboard. I don't want to be doing this month after month after month. I want to rather focus in working in the business alongside the other decision makers and sit around the table with them.
Yeah, listen, those repetitive tasks, it's such an important point that you make, because what's happening today is that we need to do more with less. And, we need to work efficiently is what you're saying. And there's nothing worse than those repetitive tasks. And it just frees people up to do a lot more with their time. And I guess what you're also saying is you talk a lot about automation. So CFOs, what I'm hearing from you, must embrace the power of automation to handle these repetitive tasks quickly and focus more on those growth opportunities. So where does Sage come into this? How can Sage help businesses achieve what you're talking about?
So every now and then, I think there's an event which happens in the world of technology. I think a couple of years back, that event was cloud, and people were very, cautious when people were preaching cloud, and we as software vendors were saying, you need to move to the cloud and you need to get your data into the cloud and your systems and all of that. I think that has now been proven. COVID helped an awful lot in supporting the cloud case. Today, it's no longer an issue of explaining what the benefits of cloud are. AI, I think, is definitely the next revolution or evolution. Doesn't matter what you call it. And we can talk about that. But I'm very passionate about this change, which is happening. And it definitely is happening. It's not just a fad. So we need to make sure that, we get the benefits from AI. We don't necessarily need to become experts in it, Aki. You reap the benefits of that daily if you use Google Maps as an example. You didn't have to go on a Google Maps training course to understand how the AI works for you to actually get the benefits from that. And it's very similar with regards to ERP software HR and payroll software. So what we are leveraging is on these cloud products of ours. We didn't realize at that point in time that that's going to be one of the major benefits today. But we are putting these AI technologies into those cloud platforms, and our customers are benefiting from it already without them becoming experts. There's a couple of examples I can mention. So data entry and automation is very important, like I said, to free up time in finance teams. So we've got an accounts payable automation module, which now reads invoices, prepares draft invoices for posting. It learns overnight as we run those AI learning algorithms. And after months of processing and learning, the accuracy is around 96%. So that just removes so much effort from a team. We've got something which we call general ledger outlier detection, which is a form of continuous auditing. So in moving away from having people do the data entry, the repetitive task, and people reviewing it, we now use AI technology in the background to look for anomalies and to tell us, I'm picking up something which is not usual based on what I've seen in your processing history, and it gets flagged for review. Maybe there's a good reason or explanation for it, and one can just say accept and move on. Or no, this should not be happening as it's currently happening. It's an error. We need to go and fix it. There are elements like Sage Intact Intelligent Time, which helps people with timesheets. I hated doing timesheets back in my auditing days, on a Friday especially. But now you've got the AI looking at your productivity throughout the last week, looking at what you did in terms of your emails, your conversations on Teams, your meetings in your calendar, and it proposes a timesheet for you, and it becomes better and better as it sees you editing the entries on that proposed timesheets. So the benefits are just abound, and I think it's very possible for people to, just embrace it and just get the benefit from it by just being on the right software platform.
Look, I'm very grateful that you mentioned AI, because it's all over the place. You just cannot ignore it. It is where the future's going, and it's advancing faster than any of us have ever imagined. And it's really a significant trend at the moment. When you look at Sage, and you touched on some of the possibilities that are embedded in the actual platform, what are the most powerful AI tools that Sage has that can really help CFOs grow their business?
So I think I've mentioned a couple of the modules that we have already built into some of our ERP platforms, but something we're very excited about is Sage's Copilot. So I think one of the benefits that we have is that Sage has started investing in AI about 8 years ago. So we are way ahead of the curve in terms of where our technology and our large language models are. And I'm very excited about the capabilities that we'll be bringing to our customers in the future. So Sage Copilot is something which we are embedding across our cloud platform stack. And what that's going to do is to find those opportunities for automation, make sure that we make it easy for businesses to operate, make it easy for small businesses to follow up on overdue invoices, to give you a view of your data's aging, as an example. It'll draft emails for you. It'll basically engage with you and say, do you want me today to have a look and follow up with all of your overdue customers? And you say yes, and it'll actually in the background draft all of those emails, send out all of the reminders with the statement and the invoices attached. It's about exploiting those areas. So Sage Copilot really, I think, is what we are betting on. And I'm very excited to see what that's going to hold for Sage and our customers. It's already running on some of our products in the UK and Ireland, and hopefully it'll be available on some of the products across the globe.
I mean, Jordaan, it's amazing how much R&D and how much Sage has been spending on innovation in the last few years. It's an unrecognized product compared to a decade ago or even further back than that. And it's just great to see that technology has been embedded into that Sage infrastructure, that's the Sage DNA. And it's really forward-thinking and future-proof and ready for the future. Now, when you look ahead into the future, you guys have obviously got your finger on the pulse. You see what the trends are, where it's all going. What other technologies and trends should CFOs prepare for in the coming years? Is it going to change drastically from where it is today? My gut feeling is probably yes, especially when you look at AGI and where AI is moving at the paces which it's moving. But what are you seeing?
That's why I mentioned evolution versus revolution earlier, Aki. So I know that for a while, a lot of people have been talking about this revolution and you need to get on top of AI, otherwise you'll be left behind. I think it's more of an evolution. But what's solid about an evolution is that it will be happening continuously over an extended period of time, and it will be embedded across all of our systems and data, etc. So I'm very excited about that. As a finance professional, I want to be as bold as saying 5 years from now that finance teams should not be touching data entry. I don't think finance teams will be performing manual analysis of that data. I think with the continuous auditing that will be running in the background, our data accuracy will be even better than what it is today. So I'm really looking forward to a future, not where we spend more time on the golf course, but where our finance teams spend more time, guiding the business, working in the business, helping with that, acting as a trusted business advisor. And I really think because of the way finance and accounting rules and standards have been set up, it's rule-based. So it's something which we humans have learned. This is how you account for this transaction. That is how you report that transaction. All of that can be done by AI. So that's why I'm saying it's definitely possible. I don't know how long it will take. I'm hoping within the next 5 years, but that finance can be really transformed, moving away from what we've been doing for a number of years and moving into this more exciting commercial space.
Yeah. I see you mentioned the golf course over there. Are you suggesting that CFOs spend a disproportionate of time on a golf course? I'm just kidding. But yeah, listen, it does certainly free you up to do a lot more other things. But, all of this change, I don't know about you, but, we both play in this technology space, but this change it can be quite overwhelming, especially at the pace at which it's going, because, for me, it's the pace more than anything else about the change, that it's coming at us so fast. How does Sage help CFOs handle this fast evolving finance function so easily? Because it's just like boom, boom, boom. How do you guys help the CFO?
I'm going to answer your question in a moment. I just want to come back to what I said about, not being scared of the technology as an individual. And let's focus on a finance individual as an example. Yes, you can probably get left behind if you don't spend any time or make any effort in understanding the technology. But a lot of the benefits will just be derived from starting to be on the right platform and getting the benefits of what that platform offers in terms of AI and automation. I really encourage people to be a bit more curious, to explore a bit more, to get familiar with platforms, not necessarily even the ERP system that you're working on, but looking at things like ChatGPT as an example and seeing what that can do. Playing around with technology. And like I said earlier, getting our finance teams to be a bit more experimental, a bit more innovative in their approach. What Sage does, I think, it definitely from a product level, I've explained the impacts that the AI can have and the benefits that people can reap from that. But I think it's explaining and communicating to our customers the approach. And it's not just about technology. I would have liked to preach and say technology is a silver bullet, but it definitely isn't. It's all about the people, the processes, and the technology and how you bring that to your business. So I think it's very important when you go on a journey to partner with a reputable vendor, someone you can trust like Sage. We've got a channel of business partners who work alongside medium to large businesses in implementing ERP software, HR and payroll software. So partnering with the right business partner. And then, like I said, the people element is very important. Getting what we've seen with implementations of products like Sage Intacct, the people that really get benefit from it are the people who assign a champion from their finance team to be an integral part of that implementation. And then what typically happens is when the implementation is over, they can almost self-serve. The products are so flexible these days that we enable people. It's not like it used to be where we needed to customize the code. The finance user can now actually go and modify a workflow, set up a new workflow, design a new dashboard. So it's a lot more, it's a lot easier for people to become experts. And I think that's the way that Sage sees this going forward, enabling our customers and our users to do what they need to do to serve the business the best they can.
And of course, you guys have got such a massive resource of tools and tutorials and know-hows and how to do this and how to do that on your platform. It's really fantastic to see. Jordaan, I see you represent Africa, Middle East, and Asia Pacific at Sage. And I imagine that the platform utilities and whatever's available on the platform is available to use wherever you are in the world. You've just come back from this conference in the UK. How's Africa doing from a finance point of view and utilizing all of these products compared to the other regions that you represent?
We are doing phenomenally good. So Africa, I think, in terms of embracing cloud technology, we've really been very quick in adopting that, and I think we're reaping the benefits from that now. People like technology in Africa. I mean, we've got entrepreneurs, building new technologies from within Africa. So I think we are very good at embracing technology when it becomes available. And I don't think there's anything we need to be ashamed of. We are definitely, I would say, ahead of the curve compared to some of the other regions. Sage in Africa, Middle East remains one of the fastest growing regions within the Sage group. And that's just testament to, how we serve our customers as market leaders in what we do. So I think it's a good space to be in.
Absolutely fascinating. Jordaan Burger, Vice President of Finance for Africa, Middle East, and Asia Pacific at Sage. Thank you for your insights and for joining us for this episode of What's Next, Jordaan.
It was lovely speaking to you, Aki. All the best.